Go ahead.
It's 11:30 on a Tuesday night. There's been a lot of talk about drill rap, drill music, New York City, connecting violence with the culture. And I just wanted to create a conversation with the mayor. We brought Fabio here. We got Young B Love here. We got Sloan Bucks here. We got Bleezy here to talk about, what's really happening, so the mayor could get a real perspective and a real understanding of what drill rap is, and so that we could have some real dialogue and really start to really make things happen.
We're going to roll out something together on the whole conversation, and we're looking forward to it. And I appreciate you, man.
Definitely.
Your favorite color. The sky.
And I had no idea what drill rapping was, but I called my son, and he sent me some videos, and it is alarming. And we are going to pull together the social media companies and sit down with them and state that you have a civic and corporate responsibility. We pulled Trump off Twitter because of what he was spewing. Yet we are allowing music, displaying of guns, violence. We're allowing it to stay on these sites because look at the victims. We're bringing them in. We're going to show exactly what is being displayed, and we are alarmed by it. We are alarmed by the use of social media to really over-proliferate this violence in our community.
Go ahead.
It's 11:30 on a Tuesday night. There's been a lot of talk about drill rap, drill music, New York City, connecting violence with the culture. And I just wanted to create a conversation with the mayor. We brought Fabio here. We got Young B Love here. We got Sloan Bucks here. We got Bleezy here to talk about, what's really happening, so the mayor could get a real perspective and a real understanding of what drill rap is, and so that we could have some real dialogue and really start to really make things happen.
We're going to roll out something together on the whole conversation, and we're looking forward to it. And I appreciate you, man.
Definitely.
Hi, you guys. So I just wanted to come and touch on the mayor of New York. I think he was just elected and took office probably 3-4 months ago, somewhere in there. His name is Eric Adams. And so he held a press conference, and in his press conference, he said that he wanted to address drill music. There was 2 murders, I think less than a week apart, that took place in New York by 2 quote-unquote rappers. And I said this myself a few times, how is it that everyone is a rapper? And that should trigger people okay, didn't we just hear about a rapper dying last week? So I don't really believe people when they sit and they say, oh, I didn't even know this stuff was going on. How could you not know that this stuff is going on when we hear these stories every day, almost, literally? And like some other YouTubers, they created some stories around the whole Kodak Black shooting. Like some of them were saying, if Justin Bieber would have been standing out there and been hit by one of those bullets, that story might have took a very different look and a very different turn. Turned into something completely different. And eventually that's what's going to end up happening anyway, because if you're letting these people in the industry and they're acting in such a reckless manner and thinking in such a reckless manner, anything can happen to anyone that's standing around them. And so eventually something is going to happen, and that's when people are really going to have to do something, or they're going to, at that point, then feel like, okay, well, maybe we should do something about this, since now they're going to bring this into our Beverly Hills and, you know, all these areas where we don't expect to hear these things happening. Um, and I agree. I think that that is what's going to eventually end up happening, because there's too many of those guys that are, you know, becoming celebrities, if you will. And I just don't get it. Like, I don't get it, but I guess people will understand when certain things happen. Not that we're wishing that on anyone, but you can see how that is building up to end up to, you can see the buildup of something like that happening. So he's saying that he wants to talk to them and to streaming services. And yeah, I would agree. I think that they do need to clean up the image. And I just said that in that other video about the Valleyville guy who just shot his child's mother and his two neighbors, killing one of the neighbors and the other one injuring him in the leg. He was one of these artists as well, right? And constantly talking about violence. And then look how he went out before he killed himself. So, yeah, this is a promotion of violence. It's also inciting violence when you're taunting people about their dead loved ones or their dead friends or relatives. Yeah, you're inciting violence. And so, yeah, he's right. Something needs to happen. Streaming services, because if you can't look at this stuff and see that this is something that is morally wrong, not beyond morally wrong, it's just something that should not happen, should not just be put out here to promote or to make people think that we all think that living like that is okay, right? Obviously people don't care that they see these young black men murdering themselves. That's why they're not speaking up, because of the color of the look of it all, right? Because you have all these so-called other rappers who don't look like that, but it's not happening to them. Every time you hear these stories, it's a young black man. Am I right? So clearly that's the reason people are turning a blind eye to this. But if this young generation, and I've said this before, if this young generation is killing themselves, then who's going to come after that generation? And yeah, it matters. Hopefully he don't allow these people to get in there and finesse him with nonsense. What do you guys think about this whole topic? Let me know in the comments. You know, and then they have all these lame talking points out here. People talk about hip hop has always been like this. No, it has not. A lot of the people that I grew up listening to are still alive. That's why you see that we can have a versus and invite them to celebrate their bodies of work, because they're still here. A lot of them are still here. And people that are leaving, they're leaving from natural causes and from other things. They're not leaving from gun violence. And we did not have list and list of people dying every month, every other week, ever. So that talking point is very lame and it's not true. The only person that I know that I can remember that was talking about violence all the time and people used to make jokes about was Spice One. When Spice One used to have the gunfire, the gunshots going off in his songs, and he was constantly talking about wanting to harm people and stuff. But he was not a commercial rapper. See, these people today, you guys are making them commercial rappers. You're trying to make them superstars, and they're talking about killing people. And there are a lot of some of these kids like King Von and some of these other people, their names have been centered around in real life murders. And no, it's not okay. People should not be rewarded for doing things that they should not be out here doing and talking like that. You know, and Spice One is still here. Spice One is still alive, but he was never a commercial rapper. He was an underground rapper, and obviously now we see him as a legend. We saw him as a legend. We've been seeing him as a legend for a long time. He did not want to compromise the way he wanted to present his art. So he never tried to chase after commercial success like that. And so yeah, people were not allowed on BET and MTV and on the radio talking a certain way and doing certain things. So that's a lie as well. NWA were not gangsters. And a lot of times, what people are misunderstanding is that people were using metaphors to say certain things, but they were not necessarily talking about murdering people. But people are trying to use lame talking points and make things sound like, oh, it's always been this way. No, it has not. Please point me to the list of rappers who died in the early 2000s, who died in the 90s. You can't. But I can point you to a list of people that you guys are calling rappers that died last year. I can point you to another list of rappers that died in 2020 from gun violence. So there is a difference. It's not the same. So people need to miss me with these lame ass talking points and acting as if trying to pretend like there's nothing wrong with promoting violence. Yes, it is. There's something wrong with that. And it's something wrong with anyone who's trying to pretend like there's nothing wrong with it as well. And you probably need to be on some watch list. Anyway, let me know what you guys think about this story in the comments. Do you think that the mayor will meet with them again and actually put anything in play? Or do you think he's just doing all this for show? Let me know in the comments what you guys think about this conversation. And I'll see you in the next video.
Hey, y'all here, what's going on, Dago?
One and only Spice motherfucking one,